Well, hello, it's good morning from me and of course good morning from Worcester. Today's video is a little bit different. You'll have to excuse me, I'm a bit breathless. Thanks Cheryl, I'm using the water thing. I've been cleaning the carpet and you know the stuff you put on it and that, it just gets to my chest because I'm a little bit asthmatic. But what can you do when you've got a very elderly, dribbly dog? Anyway, that's enough about that. I'm sure you don't want to know about my Buster's incontinence. Right, this is a response to a video from Zoe, 24 Carat Crochet. We're talking about the differences between like UK and US. Well, she is, I'm not doing it. But she just wanted us to say a few words about like where we're from and the accent we've got and how we pronounce a few words so that you could see, in America, you could see the differences even within Britain, even though we're a very small place, that there is such a huge difference between our accents. I mean, I used to work in a job centre and people came to me from everywhere and I have to confess that sometimes I understood somebody, excuse me, better from a foreign country than I did actually from somebody within my own country. I used to get a Geordie or whatever in front of me and I used to, you have to tune in, you have to really tune in to what they're actually saying before you get the drift of what they're talking about. Anyway, where am I from? Hang on. I'm from Lancashire. I'm now living in Manchester, but I was originally born in a little place which used to be a little village called Royton, which is near Oldham. But my accent has changed because my Oldham accent, for example, I wouldn't have been born near Oldham, I would have been born near Oudham. You know, it's at Oudham, I told them Oldham. And when I first came over to live in Prestwich when I got married, which was 46 years ago, not married now, but I did get married in 46 years ago, people didn't understand me. You know, for example, I'd be running for a bus, and you know, it was like a bus. It's supposed to be a bus, dear, not a buzz. And you know, I'd say, "Where's the bin?" And people would say, "Do you mean the dustbin? What are you talking about?" Whereas "where's the bin" to me means "where have you been? Where's the bin?" It's just my dialect. So I've had to change. So my accent really now, I don't know quite what it is. It's not Mancunian. Anybody who's from Manchester would say it's not Mancunian. But it's evolved. That's all I'll say, it's evolved. I think you get influenced, don't you, by the area that you come to live in. And when you think about it, I was married at 21, was I 20? 21, 22, I was on the sort of brinks of whatever it was. So I've lived here actually longer than I lived in my own hometown. So I think you get influenced. My son speaks a little bit of either. I think he just got an accent of his own, yeah. Right, accents I like the sound of. Well, I must admit I do love a Scottish accent. There's something about it, and I like the soft Irish accent. You know, a bit like Barry's got, but I don't like the harsh Irish accent where they talk so fast. You know, my friend is Irish, I can't remember where she's from, and I have to say to her, slow down, because she, and I can't understand a word she says. I have to really tune into her before I can understand what she says, because she talks so fast. And I was once in the company of her and 2 of her sisters, or 3 of her sisters. And it was like being in a room full of people who were talking Russian, because I didn't understand. Anyway, she's asked us to say a few words of how we pronounce them. So I'll just read them out and, you know, you probably think, I don't speak like that. Right, it's tomato, potato, herbs, as in the stuff you put in your cooking, basil, pecan, oregano, parmesan, as in cheese, parmesan cheese, patty, you know, the stuff you spread on your toast, water, almond, caramel, vitamins, McVitie's, as in the biscuits, aluminium, as in the tinfoil stuff you put around you. Well, you put it around your cooking, don't you, or you use it in buildings. Fragile, hostile, route, as in a bus route, you know, where it's going, or Route 66. Data, that's data input, yeah. Van Gogh, as in the was he a painter? Yes, he was, wasn't he? Vase that you put your flowers in. I can't even read my own writing. Oh, boy. You know, no, I don't mean a young man, I mean the stuff you moor your boats up to, your yachts up to. It's a boy. The letters, well, it's Z, or it's probably more likely to be the letter Z. The theatre, the colour lilac, and, oh, excuse me. For example here, if we go out, we go to the cinema. We don't go to see a movie, we go to see a film. Or if you come from where I do, you're going to the Pickies or you're going to see a flick, yeah? Defence, button, crochet, you have to excuse me, crochet, leisure, and advertisement, or advertisement, whichever way. Right, she's asked me to pronounce some towns, which is Derby, Birmingham, Canterbury, Worcester, Leicester, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Moscow, and Italy. Can I add to that Iran and Iraq? We don't recognise Iran or Iraq, yeah? It's Iran and Iraq over here. And also Tunisia. I do Tunisian crochet. I don't do Tunisian crochet. I don't go to Tunisia. I go to Tunisia, yeah, whatever. That's something else that's different. I mean, I think that going to university, which in my parents' generation was a little bit, well, not unheard of, but very, very hard for anyone of a working class to actually manage to get to university. They didn't have to pay fees and things like that, but there were still, you know, books and other things that they had to pay for. My brother went to university, which was a huge sacrifice for my parents, even though he did get a grant, which it was in those days, you know, to pay the university fees. And he lived at home and had to commute because basically we couldn't afford him to go and study away from home. He was lucky enough to get into Lancashire University, which is a brilliant university. So he had a very, very good education. So that, I think, made a big difference to people in England because, or Britain, I should say. I should say that Great Britain is Great Britain. It comprises of Scotland, Ireland, Wales and England. And we are now all supposed to be British, but I'm of the generation where I'm English. I was born in England. Alright, I'm part of Great Britain, but I'm English, yeah? Just want to clear that bit up. And it really annoys me on forms I've got to fill in when it says, what nationality are you? And my choice is Great Britain. And I want to put, no, I'm English, part of Great Britain, but that's just one of my little bugbears. Right, things that I can think of that are different. Well, I've just told you about Oldham, which when I came from it was Oldham. And there's a place in Oldham that's called, well, it's written Greenacres, but it's actually pronounced to be Greenacres. And then there's a little place outside, I think it's in Yorkshire, that's written as Slaithwaite. But if you come from it, you come from Slough, yeah? Don't ask me why it's called Slough, but it is. And these are things that make us laugh. I mean, we went to, you know, the launch of Cloud9 the other week, and Manny's put the coordinates like into her sat-nav. And this lady kept saying, you are now reaching back up. And it's B-A-C-U-P, which is bake up. But no, she kept saying, this is back up. And I was just giggling. And my niece said, oh, that's one of the better ones, you know, you should hear her on some of the others. She gets it totally wrong. You know, like Leicester and places like that, you know. And also, well, it's I'd love to hear how other people perceive this. I'm not doing any differences between UK and US apart from this because Zoe's covering all that. So, you know, it's just that we will always be different. But what we're trying to explain is, what Zoe's trying to explain is, We are a tiny country, which would probably fit into one of your states in the US. But having said that, the accents vary so much. And I think it was like pre-TV, like you said, pre-university. People lived, worked and died in the same spot. And they didn't much move around, you know. So the accents were very, very pronounced, you know, very, very sort of insular. It's only when we started hearing, you know, things, I mean, when we first used to hear the films that were American, you know, when they first came, when I was a kid, they first came and I'm like, what's that kind of accent? Especially the accents from down south. And it was all like a strange and wonderful place, you know, with the cowboy films and everything. But now, of course, with the advent of, you know, more films, the TV, internet, everything, we're all becoming a hodgepodge. And in actual fact, I do hope that we all keep our individual identities. I would hate the fact that we all started speaking BBC English, you know, and we lost our differences, yeah. So anyway, I hope I've explained to you. So it's ta-ra, as we would say in Oldham. That's bye-bye. Ta-ra. Or see you later. Oh, that's another thing. If I just go down the road a little few miles, I go into Salford. And in Salford, they don't have a letter T in anything, you know. It's my mate Peter. And they go to the job centre instead of Peter and job centre. And it just tickles me that there is no T's when you come from down Salford. Sorry for any people who are in Salford who do pronounce the T's, but the people that I dealt with in the job centre, that was the way they used to speak. Anyway, I think that's it now, so sorry it's a different one. No crochet, no nothing. Although I've almost finished the black bolero crocheting and I've run out of wool just for the edging. So I'm trying desperately to find some more black that matches. I must have 5 different blacks in the house and none of them do. Anyway, bye for now. Hope you've enjoyed our different whatever, and do tune in to Zoe, 24 Carat Crochet.